So you're more of a geek than a nerd. Because you're more passionate than competitive, or like fixated on specific details, and you know. All right.
I'm very detailed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Especially when it comes to my favorite, most awesomest band, which we all know who they are.
Yes.
The Monkees. When people get things wrong, like how to spell Mickey Dolenz' name, it's not acceptable.
Wasn't there also something like the Nesmith? They called someone Nesmith.
Right,
89.3's, yeah.
Riley, either it was Jim Riley or...
I thought it was Jim McGuinn, actually, but it might have been one.
I don't know who. On 89.3.
Peter Nesmith said Peter Nesmith.
Yeah, Peter Nesmith. No, there's no Peter Nesmith. It's Michael Nesmith.
Well, see, the detail thing I would consider more of a nerd thing. But a geek is more of just interest in sort of just consuming knowledge and enjoying and appreciating it, as opposed to being being a nerd is more like a superiority complex, more like Sheldon. Sheldon's more of a nerd than a geek, because he's all obsessed with being the best, the most knowledgeable.
Well, so. I do want to be the best and most knowledgeable, at least when it comes to particular artists and groups.
So like the Needle Drop, being the internet's busiest music nerd, that would mean he's basically obsessed with details and being competitive, and as opposed to.
He is probably more aligned to being a geek.
He's closer to a geek. I mean, if you want to just go by the general perception of the tours, although I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have no idea. I mean, their definitions completely are the opposite, or they think them pretty much synonymously. So, but.
So we're splitting hairs.
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about your taste in the Meltdown because of no one in this town having your taste. That's for another video, as you said in the last video.
Great, no one in this town. And I don't want to say that there isn't absolutely anyone. That's a great exaggeration, or probably an overestimation.
This town being Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Correct.
Minnesota.
Which are fairly large urban areas. But, and I do say but, I haven't found any game in town, what I mean a vinyl collector, especially a vinyl store owner, or a vinyl store employee, for that matter, that understands my particular taste, which is, mine is basically 80s and 90s pop with a little bit of rock. And specifically what I'm looking for are the 12-inch singles, not the 45s, not the 7-inch, but the 12-inch singles that have extended versions, dance versions, alternate mixes that are just not available. They were made because they were sold, and it's for a fact that we can prove it because they're out there. You can go ahead and go on Rate Music, and you'll certainly find listings for all of these types of materials that I just stated. There's 12 inches for Hall & Oates, George Michael, the Spice Girls. However, finding it here in the Twin Cities area is not ideal. Even when Kyle and I went to Chicago 2 years ago, we went record store shopping, and I found one Chromeo item, one Chromeo thing, which was an EP that had at least 4 or 5 tracks on it with a few alternate versions. Chicago, which isn't even that far. Pathetic.
Well,
really pathetic.
I
almost feel like I either have to go to New York or I have to go
to LA or
to
Europe.
Los Angeles. Seems like those are going to be the epicenters as far as I'm concerned. Or the biggest and largest place to check is probably London, England, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
But
Or actually,
it's really
probably
hard to find the dance and pop and rock that I specifically interested with a lot of, like I said, a lot of it's pop. There is some soul, there's some R&B, maybe a little bit of hip hop, and a dash of rock. Not very much, because that's not necessarily the type of music that I'm greatly influenced by or that I really like. So that's not me. That's not a fan. I'm not a big fan of rock. fan of pop. I know my pop music. From the 50s to the current day.
Right.
But ask me anything about rock music.
Well, your theory is that other people that have this stuff aren't selling it in this town. But the thing is,
even if they have it, I guess I'm even under the impression that no one in this town even owns it.
well, it doesn't make sense though,
Or
because
that there isn't a forum, there isn't a fan board, there doesn't seem to be even like an email list.
that's a good question.
There
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be a Facebook
So
group.
these people aren't on social media, and they're not actively being visible
Right.
in terms of selling their material, their collections.
Right. They've got to be out there. I know they've got to be out there because at some point someone bought this material. Otherwise, the record companies, the artists themselves wouldn't have made it available for sale. So it exists. It is out there, as I've reiterated a dozen times throughout this conversation. But it's not found here. But there isn't even anyone that I feel like I can bond with talking about, oh, I really wish I had that, 12-inch single by Johnny Kemp called Just Got Paid. And I just want the single. Not talking about the entire album. Or I just want Sade's Smooth Operator. Not a 45, but a 12-inch. Madonna. A lot of Madonna stuff I'm looking for that I can't find. You would think that's not going to be really hard because Madonna, on the other hand, is a huge pop star, just like Michael Jackson. No.
Well, we do
Whitney
see
Houston.
a lot of her 12 inches, but a lot of the same ones.
Right. Whitney Houston stuff. I'm looking a lot for her. So once again, this is 80s, 90s material.
You're looking for obscure stuff, scare stuff, limited printing stuff.
Well, I
But
don't know if it was printed limited. That would require a little more research and finding out.
Well, the Madonna stuff
But-
is because there's a lot of Madonna stuff that does show up. It's just the stuff you see.
Right. Spice Girls record. Now that, in all fairness, I want the entire LP. I want it from beginning to end. However, I'm not going to pay $500, $600 to you people on eBay or Amazon.
Discogs.com, yeah.
No, not going to happen.
You-
Jerry
you-
Halliwell
you
and
actually-
Spice Girls released a solo album as well. I'd be interested in that. I do know for a fact that Jerry Halliwell released a lot of singles on vinyl because in that case, I actually do own her singles on vinyl, 12-inch. And they are remixes, alternative mixes, and so forth. But if the singles were released on vinyl, my thought is probably Jerry Halliwell and her record company released the entire thing on LP on vinyl. Can't find it. And I certainly, once again, I'm not going to pay $500, $600.
Nice to meet you.
So,
Excited to be working.
where are you people? Where are my pop and soul people?
Collectors.
From, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, because that's what I need. That's what I'm looking for.
I was gonna say that my a friend of mine, even though it's a different taste, and he's more of a rock person, of course, but he's got this channel called Vinyl Fury, and he's pretty well versed in vinyl sources. Now I'm talking about online, but I could ask him if he knows sometime. But there's a few other people like this vinyl. Was it Vinyl Love Community or Vinyl Community Love? I don't know, VCLT or something like that. There's people on YouTube that just talk about their love of vinyl. Now again, it's mostly rock stuff probably and pop and rock, but you haven't explored. This is possibly an untapped outlet, but I have to do all the busy work for you, I guess, because you're not interested in going onto YouTube and. Well, let me know. I mean, otherwise you could do it. But I'm just saying.
Say that you and I have a very similar relationship, like Miss Piggy.
Like if we do it, let's do it. We could post this to them and tag it and put it on like Twitter and Facebook and see if maybe it pops up, or do a separate video, just a brief thing saying,
I want to know.
"Hey, vinyl lovers, I'm looking for this stuff. Where can I find it? You have to help me out. I'm desperate here."
Instead of I want to know where love is, I want to know where our people are.
Yeah.
And so my people are people who will dance and rock out to Paul Abdul,
Obscure.
Rick Springfield,
Yeah.
Rick Astley, Air Supply, Michael McDonald,
All right. Peter
Oates.
Peter Cetera. So. All right. Well, any more you want any more rants or things you want to say? I know you wanted to talk about those monkey podcast people. That was a long time ago. You never got that in. I think the one time you talked about it, we had the dog interfering. And it looked like.
I will talk about the monkey. I will talk about the monkeys on another segment. But for now.
Well, we can show your monkey collection. I did Marillion. Why not? Why wouldn't want to show your monkey?
All right, everybody, you'll get to see the monkey collection.
Even if it's like 2 videos or something. So.
Our next video blog post, you'll get to see the monkey's collection. I got quite the collection.
All
I'm
right.
very proud of it.
All right.
I got some Michael Nesmith signed stuff because I got to meet him.
Yeah.
On the very first time that he posted on Facebook the lottery for him when he went on tour.
That he'd do one. Yeah.
And 13?
Well, tell him Amy called.
Was it 13?
He knows my last name. I'm his
Yes.
13.
When he toured?
I'll send you a PDF.
Oh, 20. No, it's 2012.
Oh.
Or no, you're right. 2013 was the solos tour. The 2012 was with the Monkees. So, yeah.
Alright.
So, yeah.
Ciao. Hasta la vista.
All right.
Didn't mention that Alex was a girl.